Hello everyone, and welcome back to TechBlock. Today, we're finally gonna begin moving the gaming setup over. Finally, right? Like, geez, you guys have been screaming at me for so long now, saying, when are you moving the setup? Like, it's been weeks since we've moved in. Finally, we're gonna begin moving the setup, all right, guys? But before that, I wanna go over kind of the history that we have in this room. We go over all the setups we've built in this room and kind of where we are today before we move everything over. Many years ago, probably around like 2011, 2012, maybe 2013, we had a pre-built PC from Packard Bell. It came with like a monitor and stuff. So that was our PC. It was a complete potato. I wish I knew the specs, but it was real bad. I think the whole PC cost maybe like £300. It was very much a potato of a PC, but that's all we had at the time. And it could just barely run Minecraft. That's pretty much like all I can remember, I guess, because that's like what I really played growing up, just Minecraft really. So that PC could just barely run it. I remember going on YouTube, watching all these videos on like how to increase the performance of your PC and stuff. That's kind of probably why I got into like PC gaming in general and kind of like upgrading PCs, is because my PC was a goddamn potato and I really wanted to learn how to make it better. So I'm pretty sure that had a lot of influence and why I kind of got into tech in the first place was because of Minecraft lagging and me wanting it to stop lagging eventually. But that was our PC, and that was the setup for I think quite a few years, until I think in 2014, my mum, she bought me like a gaming PC for my birthday, I think it was. That PC had an Intel Core i7-4770 CPU and a GT 640 graphics card, and I think 8 gigs of RAM. So it was quite the upgrade, especially in the CPU department. That CPU was like, real good at the time. But as for the graphics card, a GT 640, that thing was a goddamn potato. But I think later on that year, I managed to get myself a GTX 970 graphics card, so that was quite an improvement. And pairing the i7-4770 with the GTX 970, it was pretty good. And I pretty much stuck with that kind of spec for a very long time. That was my PC for many years. I think I changed the case at one point to a Xiaomi Z11 Plus. Don't know if any of you know that case, but it was kind of popular at the time, I guess. It looked pretty darn cool, so we had that case. I think I bought a bunch of fans for it and stuff. Like, I was slowly upgrading the PC, but like really slowly. We eventually upgraded to 16 gigs of RAM, of DDR3 RAM running at 2133. It originally ran at 1600, but I managed to like overclock it to 2133. So that's what we did there. We changed the case many times and we stuck with that CPU, and we ended up sticking with that Intel Core i7-4770 CPU, I think all the way to very late 2018, because that's when I finally replaced it with the Ryzen 7 2700X CPU that we have in this build now. So we stuck with like that Intel chip, the 4th gen Intel Core i7 chip, for so many years. And to be honest, like, it's a decent CPU, like it held on pretty good for all those freaking years. But upgrading to like, something more current gen like this Ryzen 7 CPU was definitely quite the freaking improvement over that 4th gen Intel CPU. But the entire setup and stuff went through so many freaking changes, man. Like in December of 2015, I think it was, we finally got ourselves the IKEA Lindmon desk, the exact same one that we still have here today in 2019. So this desk has been with me maybe 4.5 years. It's been with me for so many years. Like, I'm pretty sure I got it in 2015. So it's been around for a while. It's somehow survived everything, which to me makes no sense really. Like, this desk should have snapped countless times, especially when we had a quad monitor setup in here. Like, this desk should not be alive right now. But in 2015, I pretty much switched over to like a single monitor setup with a laptop for quite some time. Like for a year or two, I think starting from around 2015, things looked very weird, as we had like a laptop that was like a complete potato as well. We had one of these Asus monitors plus a Packard Bell monitor from like a previous setup from the previous pre-built PC, the Packard Bell PC. Yeah, I still had that monitor, so I was using this Asus one, that one, and then a laptop, I think. So we kind of had like a triple monitor setup, but it was real weird. I ended up using a program called Synergy to control my laptop and my main PC with the two monitors with one mouse and keyboard. So that was great. So I could pretty much just use like, a normal keyboard and mouse to control two different PCs, which was awesome. So that's what I ended up doing there. And yeah, the setup kind of stayed looking pretty darn weird, and nothing was like symmetrical. All the monitors were different, everything was different sizes. It was kind of weird, but it's kind of all I had at the time, It is what it is. I'm sure many of you watching this video right now are in a similar position where your monitors aren't aligned properly. You got different panels, different monitors, maybe you have a laptop as like a secondary display or something. Yeah, like even looking at my setup right now, I currently have different sized monitors as well. Like, you know, we have a 24-inch here, which should really be a 27-inch so that there wouldn't be no gap. But you know, it is what it is. We're always still working on this setup. It's like nowhere near done. We still got a lot of things to add, a lot of things to upgrade. And in the new apartment, that's of course what we're going to be doing. We're going to be upgrading the setup, finally replacing these two Atom monitors with two 27-inch ones, hopefully in the near future. But damn dude, this setup's been through so freaking much. Like, I still can't believe when we built that quad monitor setup. Like, I think that was by far my favorite setup I've ever built. It was just absolutely nuts. We had 3 Asus monitors on the bottom and then a 4K overhead display. This guy right here, a 4K monitor, 28-inch 4K monitor overhead display above 3 Asus monitors. It was nuts. It was super cool though. Like, I really like that setup, but because it was kind of like on this desk and the way I set the whole thing up, it was definitely not maintainable, because this monitor was mounted on a monitor arm that was clamped onto another monitor arm that was then clamped onto the desk. This desk is pretty much hollow. Like, it's made out of freaking paper, man. I don't know how it didn't snap, because the amount of weight on that one point was just insane. We had a like fully metal monitor arm holding 3 monitors, plus another metal monitor arm holding that monitor. Like, monitors aren't really light, especially this freaking 4K 28-inch one. Like, the amount of weight in that one spot, and the desk didn't snap. Like, I'm pretty sure it's thanks to this IKEA Alex drawer kind of supporting everything. But at the moment, this is how the setup looks like. After BenQ sent me the ultra-wide monitor, we ditched the overhead display and ditched the middle Asus monitor and just built this guy, which so far, you know, loving this thing, loving the setup. It's real nice. People have asked me to mount the 4K overhead monitor once again over top of my middle display, which I could do if I bought like the right monitor arm for it, or I just like wall mounted the whole thing. But I can't really wall mount things on this wall. The wall is unbelievably thin. Like, it's like freaking paper, man. Like, you can hear everything on the other side of the room pretty much. So wall mounting things in this apartment was like never really an option, because I'm pretty sure it would just rip the whole wall out. So my only real option with like monitors was buying like a monitor arm that clamps onto a desk, which also wasn't the most ideal solution, as we have a potato of a desk made out of freaking paper that's hollow. But anyway, here we are today. Recently added the Nanoleaf Aurora light panels up here, which kind of really helped complete the setup, I guess. Like, I'm really happy with the setup, how far it's come, all the progress we've made over all these years. We've gone through so many different PC cases, so many different PC builds. A lot of the time, all the specs were like the exact same. We just kind of kept swapping PC cases, but you know, it is what it is. But where the setup is at today, I'm really happy. We have a sick GT Omega Elite chair right here. Luckily, GT Omega did actually hook us up with a brand new chair for the new apartment. So if you want to go watch that video, press the card right now to go watch my unboxing and me building the whole GT Omega chair that they sent me, because they sent me an even better one than this guy. Like, this chair here was really, really nice, but they sent me, I think, their best one, the GT Omega Sport. Real comfy, slightly better build quality than this guy. It's just a real good chair. Really happy with it. So that chair's in the new apartment. And today what I'm going to be doing is moving over the monitor. I think the main BenQ monitor. I might take my Stream Deck as well, and we'll slowly begin building the new setup. So without further ado, let's say our final goodbye, I guess, to how this setup is going to look like, because we're going to rip the middle monitor off, take it with us to the new apartment. It's crazy, man. And not only are we saying goodbye to this setup here, we have a whole other setup, dude. We have a whole other setup. This guy we recently built. We put together a whole other setup here. We have a Synology server there. We have a 10 gigabit connection from the server to our PC all the way there. We have a fully functioning PC build in there, decked out with RGB, of course. We have the RX Vega 64. I still have that graphics card, by the way, so that's in that PC right now. We have an RTX 2060 on the desk here. The BenQ 4K monitor, 1ms response time. It's a TN panel, AMD FreeSync. Real cool stuff. Shout out to BenQ, of course, for sending it over to me. We have the Razer Black Widow 2019 keyboard, Razer Nari Ultimate headset, Razer Thresher Ultimate headset. We have the Razer Mamba, Razer Firefly Hyperflux combo. Just a whole bunch of Razer gear, man. And then as for everything in this setup here, if you want to go watch my full setup tour, press on the card right now to go watch that. Because in that video, I covered absolutely everything from the desks to the PC specs to every single peripheral, every single light and stuff in the setup. That was all covered in that video. And then finally, we have this whole networking section in the room, which you don't really often see anymore, as it's kind of like a mess a lot of the time. We have the Netgear XR700 router. It has like 60 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It's just crazy. It has a 10 gig port and stuff. Like, this is a monster of a router. Like, look at these antennas, man. They've got freaking LEDs and all. We have our BT modem here, as I have a VDSL connection, so I need a modem. Then from the modem, the internet connection goes into the router. And then all my devices go from the Netgear router into, you know, all my devices and stuff. Shout out to Arlo, Netgear, and Lightwave RF for sending over all this stuff. Much appreciated, guys. We have the Lightwave RF like control hub. We have a Philips Hue hub in there as well. Just a bunch of like networking equipment, I guess, and like smart hubs and stuff like that. Nothing really too exciting. We have a smart plug over here as well for my softboxes. I'm kind of doing like a final room tour, I suppose. Damn. Now back at the apartment, I'm currently just using my Acer Predator laptop here that they sent me for review. It's a freaking beast. I'm almost certain that this laptop is faster than my PC. Like the Intel CPU in there is so well optimized for Adobe Premiere. Like any workload I've thrown at it so far, it handles it so much better than my Ryzen CPU. Both of these systems have the exact same graphics card, an RTX 2060, but my main PC has 32 gigs of RAM, insanely quick NVMe storage, but I did run an NVMe like storage test on this laptop as well. This laptop was doing like, I think 3 gigabytes per second on the read performance and like 2.5 on the write. Like the NVMe drive in here, it's real good as well. But it genuinely did surprise me how well this laptop handles Adobe Premiere in comparison to my main rig, which has like an 8-core Ryzen CPU. This laptop's just really, really well optimized for Adobe Premiere. And it just makes editing on here real nice. But the one problem I've ran into is it has a 1080p screen, so the amount of like screen real estate I have whilst editing my video isn't the best, hence why I kind of want to bring over the ultra wide before we bring over anything else to the apartment. So today we're going to take the ultra wide. I'm going to try to bring as many things as I can, but I'm pretty sure I'll just be taking the monitor and maybe a few other bits and bobs, and that's it. Apart from that though, that's been the final video in this room. The way the room's going to look like this is the last time you're going to see my setup like this. In the next video, we're going to be tearing the whole thing apart. You'll see me moving everything. Hopefully by the end of that one video, we'll have everything moved over, if not most of everything. We can begin building the new setup in the new apartment finally. Damn, a new beginning. A new beginning. If you're interested in picking up anything featured in today's video, I'll try to leave as many links as I can, as always, in the description down below for you. So if you saw anything that you like, press the links down below. You can pick the item up yourself on Amazon. But apart from that, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for sticking around all these years, watching the setup grow, watching it evolve. But it's time for a change. It's time for a new beginning, a new setup. That's what we're going to be doing in the new apartment. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in another video soon where we finally move the whole setup.